Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly forgotten why you went in there? Or maybe you found yourself searching for your glasses, only to realize they were on your head the whole time? It happens to all of us, but when it starts happening more often after retirement, it can feel a little scary. You start to wonder, is my brain slowing down? Is this just aging, or something more? Here's the good news. No, you're not doomed to forget everything or lose your sharpness just because you've retired. In fact, this chapter of life can be one of the most mentally rewarding, if you're avoiding the traps that sneak up on so many people during this time. You see, retirement brings freedom, yes, but also big changes to your daily routine, your sense of purpose, and even your social life. And if we're not careful, some of the most common habits people fall into after retiring can quietly chip away at brain health without us even noticing. That's what we're diving into today. 5 surprisingly common mistakes people make after retirement that can damage brain function, and more importantly, what to do instead. Now, I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to help you stay sharp, confident, and mentally strong, no matter your age. Because staying mentally active isn't about doing puzzles all day. It's about how you live. So let's start with something many people don't even realize is a problem, until it's already affecting their thinking. One of the most damaging mistakes people make after retirement is falling into a passive lifestyle. And no, I don't mean resting or relaxing. You deserve to take it easy after years of working hard. But there's a difference between healthy rest and total mental inactivity. When every day starts to look the same, wake up, drink coffee, sit in the same chair, watch the same shows, it might feel comfortable, but your brain is starving for stimulation. Without challenges, without novelty, without a reason to stay alert, the brain starts to downshift. Think of it like a muscle. If you don't use it, it starts to weaken. You don't have to start taking night classes or solving algebra problems. Just engaging in something new, even small things, wakes the brain up. Start a new hobby. Painting, gardening, woodworking, anything that gets your hands and mind working together. Learn to cook a new recipe. Call someone you haven't spoken to in years and catch up. Even reading a book outside your usual genre can trigger new pathways in your brain. And don't underestimate the power of conversation. Real, face-to-face or phone conversations, not texting, require your brain to listen, respond, adapt, and remember details. That's real mental exercise. The brain needs variety, challenge, and connection to stay healthy. Now, let's talk about another habit that quietly drains brain health, and this one surprises a lot of people. Ignoring your body. It might sound odd to talk about physical health in a video about the brain, but the two are directly linked. Your brain doesn't float around on its own. It's part of your body's entire ecosystem. If your heart is sluggish, if your blood sugar is out of whack, if you're dehydrated, your brain feels all of that. After retirement, it's easy to stop moving. You're not commuting anymore. No more running errands for the office. You may feel less pressure to stick to a routine, which means more sitting, more snacking, and less overall activity. But here's the thing. Your brain thrives on movement. Exercise increases blood flow, oxygen, and nutrients to the brain. It even stimulates the release of chemicals that support memory, focus, and mood. You don't need to start training for a marathon. Even a brisk 20-minute walk a day can work wonders. Stretch in the morning. Dance in the living room. Play with your grandkids. Move your body in ways that feel good to you. And pay attention to what you're eating. The brain loves healthy fats, berries, leafy greens, and plenty of water. On the flip side, processed foods, excess sugar, and too much alcohol can dull your mind and even increase the risk of dementia over time. Also, don't underestimate sleep. A tired brain is a foggy brain. After retirement, many people get off their regular sleep schedule, staying up later, waking up inconsistently. That can wreak havoc on cognitive function. Try to keep a steady sleep routine, even if your days are more flexible now. Your brain uses sleep to clean up and reset. When you rob it of that, it can't function at full power the next day. So, we've covered the dangers of slipping into a passive lifestyle and the hidden brain effects of neglecting physical health. These two areas are where a lot of people unintentionally begin the decline. Not because they don't care, but because they simply don't realize how connected everything is. Your brain isn't just in your head, it's in your whole life. And here's the hopeful part. Your brain is incredibly adaptable. Even if you've slipped into some of these habits, it's never too late to change. The brain can grow new connections, improve memory, sharpen focus, at any age. But it starts with how you live day to day. So if you're noticing little signs, forgetting names, losing track of time, struggling to concentrate, don't ignore them, and definitely don't panic. Just start making small changes now. That walk you take tomorrow, the book you pick up this weekend, the friend you call tonight, those aren't just good for your mood. They're fuel for your brain. Now that we've talked about how mental passivity and physical health neglect can impact the brain, let's move on to something that creeps in quietly but can do just as much harm: emotional isolation. Emotional isolation. It sneaks in quietly, often without any warning signs. One day you're busy, surrounded by coworkers, people to talk to, plans on the calendar. Then retirement hits, and suddenly those everyday interactions disappear. You don't realize how much mental energy came from simple things like chatting in the break room or planning your weekend around work schedules, until it's all gone. And that silence. That shift from being socially engaged to spending most of your time alone, it takes a toll on the brain. Humans are social creatures, no matter how introverted we might think we are. Our brains are wired to connect. When that connection fades, mental sharpness can start to fade with it. Loneliness after retirement isn't always about being physically alone, either. You could be surrounded by family but still feel emotionally disconnected. Maybe the kids are busy with their own lives. Maybe you've lost close friends. Or maybe you're just not having the kinds of conversations that keep your mind active anymore. The problem is, isolation doesn't just affect mood, it affects memory, decision-making, and even your risk of dementia. Studies have shown that prolonged loneliness can shrink areas of the brain responsible for memory and learning. It creates a kind of mental dullness that can creep in slowly but feels heavier over time. But here's the encouraging part: even a little connection can make a big difference. You don't need to suddenly become a social butterfly or go to crowded events if that's not your style. Start small. Call someone once a day. It could be a friend, a sibling, or even someone you haven't spoken to in a while. That one conversation, where you listen, laugh, share stories, that's brain engagement. Joining a club, even virtually, can help too. Whether it's a walking group, a book club, or a group that meets to play cards or games, being part of something gives your brain purpose and structure. Volunteering is another fantastic way to connect with others while feeling useful and needed, which is something many people miss after leaving the workplace. If mobility or distance is a concern, technology can be your ally. Learn to use video calls. Send voice messages. Even social media, when used mindfully, can help you stay connected to people's lives and find new communities with shared interests. Your brain doesn't just want to think, it wants to relate. Every interaction helps it stay sharp. Every smile, every laugh, every shared story lights up areas of your brain that simply don't activate when you're alone. Now, let's talk about something that might hit close to home for a lot of people: letting go of structure. After retirement, the schedule you once lived by disappears. No more waking up for work, no meetings to prep for, no projects to plan around. And at first, that feels amazing. Freedom. Sleep in if you want. Eat when you feel like it. Watch what you want, when you want. But over time, that lack of structure can turn into a kind of mental drift. Days blur together. You start forgetting what day it is. Small tasks start to feel overwhelming because there's no urgency. Without a sense of purpose anchoring your day, it's easy for your brain to lose focus. You may find yourself asking, "What did I even do today?" The truth is, structure isn't just for busy people or the workplace. Your brain thrives on rhythm and routine. It doesn't mean your day has to be rigid or packed full of activities, but having a gentle framework helps your brain know what to expect, where to focus, and how to stay mentally engaged. Start by creating a simple daily rhythm. Wake up at the same time each day. Eat meals on a schedule. Set a morning ritual. Maybe it's reading for 20 minutes with your coffee, writing in a journal, or stretching while listening to your favorite music. Give your brain a pattern to follow, something it can depend on. Then, give your day a goal. One thing you want to accomplish or enjoy. It could be as simple as organizing a drawer, going for a walk in a new place, or reaching out to someone. That single intention gives your mind something to focus on and a reason to feel accomplished. You can even use a calendar or planner, not because you have a full agenda, but because writing things down gives your brain structure. Check things off. Track habits. Celebrate little wins. These practices keep your mind active and remind you that you're in control of your time. One of the beautiful things about this phase of life is that you get to decide how your day looks. But having too much unstructured time can become mentally draining, not freeing. Your brain wants purpose. It wants goals. And even small, daily routines can light up the parts of your brain responsible for organization, memory, and focus. Think of it like this: retirement doesn't mean you stop growing. It just means you get to grow in your own direction now. But to keep your brain energized along the way, you've got to give it something to wake up for, something to do, to enjoy, to look forward to. Now that we've talked about emotional connection and structure, there's one more habit that can really do a number on your brain, and it's probably the easiest one to fall into without realizing it. That final habit, the one that can quietly sabotage your brain health more than you might expect, is dwelling on the past or resisting change. It doesn't sound harmful at first, right? After all, reminiscing is part of life. And after retirement, it's natural to think back on your career, the years that passed, the people you've loved, and the things you've accomplished. But here's where it can become a problem. When our thoughts get stuck in the past, especially if we're focusing on regrets or on how things used to be better, we unintentionally keep our minds from staying present and growing. The brain thrives when it's adapting, when it's learning, responding, and engaging with the now. But if you're constantly replaying what went wrong in life, or resisting the changes that come with aging, retirement, or a shifting world, your brain starts to close in on itself. Think about it. The world around you is changing. Technology, relationships, even your role in your family or your community. If your mind fights every change, it starts building walls instead of bridges. And those walls can lead to mental stagnation, irritability, anxiety, and even depression. Staying mentally sharp means being open. Open to learning, to growth, and yes, to change. You don't have to like every new thing. You don't have to embrace every gadget or trend. But when you choose to stay curious instead of judgmental, flexible instead of rigid, your brain lights up with possibilities. That's what keeps it young. So if you find yourself saying things like, "I'm too old to learn that," or "things were better back then," pause for a moment. Remind yourself, this is your life, right now. And there's still so much to discover, to enjoy, and to shape into something meaningful. Try something unfamiliar. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe you try a new app, or ask your grandkids to show you how something works. Maybe you join a local group, even if you feel unsure at first. Maybe you travel somewhere new, even if it's just a different park or cafe. Your brain wants you to be a beginner again. It loves learning, even if it takes a bit longer now. And if you catch yourself stuck in a loop of negative thoughts or regret, practice pulling yourself gently back into the present. Start a gratitude journal. Write down 3 things each morning that you're looking forward to, or 3 things you're proud of. These small shifts rewire your brain to focus on what's possible, not just what's past. Now let's pull all of this together for a moment. If you've ever worried that retirement means your brain is on the decline, I want you to know, it doesn't have to be. Not at all. The truth is, this stage of life can be one of your most mentally vibrant, if you stay aware of these subtle traps. Falling into a passive lifestyle, neglecting your physical health, letting emotional isolation take over, living without structure, or resisting change, these things don't seem dangerous at first. But slowly, quietly, they wear down the brain's sharpness, flexibility, and joy. But the best part? Every single one of these patterns can be changed. It doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, 80, or beyond. The brain is beautifully responsive. Even small changes, getting more movement in your day, making one new friend, adding a little rhythm to your routine, being open to something new, can begin to reverse mental fog, boost memory, and restore clarity. You are not too old to grow. You are not past the point of improving. And you are definitely not alone. So today, maybe take a short walk while listening to music that lifts your mood. Call someone you love just to say hi. Pick up that book that's been sitting on your shelf. Try a new dish. Open your mind to the idea that you can keep evolving. Because you can. You have so much life left to live. So many moments to enjoy. So many memories still to be made. If anything in this video resonated with you, if you thought, yep, I've done that, or I really needed to hear this today, drop a comment below and let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your stories, and what you're doing to keep your mind sharp after retirement. If this helped you, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend who might need it, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos just like this, focused on your health, happiness, and strength at every age. You've worked hard for this stage of life. Now it's time to live it well, with energy, clarity, and purpose. Here's to staying sharp, staying strong, and living your best life every single day.